Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Authority Marketing Live. I am so excited to be here. I am Melanie Hirschhorn. I am the host, and I am a book marketing strategist, and I help nonfiction authors who want to grow their authority and their influence online do just that with creating their online presence. And for some reason, I'm getting a lot of emails right now, so I'm going to turn that off because it's really loud and obnoxious. So today I have a fantastic guest with me, and I'm so excited to dive in. Her name is Laura Ballerini, and she has a phenomenal book, and we are going to talk about it right now. It's about the green velvet chair, and I want to get to know kind of what that is and the inspiration behind it. And so I'm going to bring her on right now, and here she is. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Melanie. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much for being here. So let's dive in. Okay, so when you tell me about a green velvet chair, I get really excited because I love velvet everything. In fact, I have a gray velvet couch right there that you can't see. So why don't you tell me the significance of the name? Because I think, people might come across it and go, oh, what's that? So tell us.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I actually struggled with the title, and obviously I titled the book "The Green Velvet Chair," kind of in tribute to my mother. So the book is about art and design. I'm a designer. I've been designing for many decades, but I originally had a working title of Pica's Pixels Perspective, because it was when I worked for the newspaper industry. Pica's was the unit of measure. Of course, pixels is the unit of measure in website design and digital. And perspective was kind of having that creative perspective on things. And I titled it, I sent it out to my beta readers, and everyone was going, I thought this was a book on art and design, like an instructional book, like a textbook. So it gave the wrong impression. So I thought, no, this is not about branding. It's not about design. It's about how art and design have influenced my life and how I've seen it influence other people in their lives in every way, like in furniture and etc. So anyway, I thought about one of the stories in the book, and it's about my mother being a very creative person, but creative with textiles, with food, as a baker, as a cook, as a seamstress. So anyway, she found this old dilapidated chair in a farmer's field when we were little kids, with a brass bed, and her and my dad were driving by and they saw it, and my mom had this idea, oh, I could do something with that. So she went up to the farmer and she offered him a little bit of money for this dilapidated chair and this brass bed frame. And my dad was rolling his eyes going, oh, what piece of junk is she bringing home now?
Yeah.
But anyway, she brought it home. She shined up that brass bed, and it became kind of the centerpiece for me and my sister's bedroom. It was gorgeous. But she saw junk, right? Or she saw something beautiful where other people may have seen junk. And then she took this green, or it wasn't green, it was just this dilapidated chair. I don't even think it had a covering on it. It was just bare bones, right? So she took it, she enrolled in an upholstery class, in this male-dominated industry. I think she always wanted to be a man because she wanted to be a carpenter and work with wood and all that. But she saw the good bones in this chair, and she stripped it down to the horsehair stuffing. She enrolled in an upholstery class. She took this male-dominated upholstery class and learned how to hammer and how to tighten the strings and all that kind of stuff, all the strings within the chair. And she kind of revitalized it. And when it came time to upholstery it, she picked this beautiful green velvet that kind of mirrored moss. And so to me, it was a lesson, because we were little kids and we're going, oh, what's she going to do with this piece of junk? And it now sits in my home. She's long gone. She's passed away, unfortunately, but it now sits in my home, and it's like gorgeous. And I look at it and go, we never saw her vision. And decades later, I'm going, this chair inspired me, right, as a designer. So
Absolutely. And I feel like there are so many messages that you can get right from that story. And it's more than just, art and design. I feel like that's sort of the surface level. But if you go deeper, it's like stepping into a place where you belong, even though people might not feel that. And also having a greater vision and seeing it through, despite what people around you are saying.
exactly. And that's what was my biggest takeaway, is everyone was kind of, snickering and going, oh, what's she going to do? And she just had the tenacity to go, wait and see. I got a plan.
Oh, okay. So how does that lesson from your mom kind of inform how you are in your business?
For me, so I'm a graphic designer, and I've obviously more digital these days. Started off as a print designer, but for me, it kind of gave me the power of how a vision can inspire you, right? Like, and also that doubt, like someone doubting you with the vision, improving them, and having that tenacity and the strength and the wherewithal to go, you know what? Just watch me, watch what I'm going to do with this project or this piece of furniture or this Ukrainian Easter egg, whatever that is. It's like just taking and creating something when the rest of the world is kind of going, not sure, and kind of proving. It kind of gives you a tenacity, kind of a belief that you want to do it, and you want to do it even more because you want to prove it to people that this is possible. So yeah, it's been very, very, the more I think about it and talk about it, it's like that chair was so influential in as a child for me.
Yeah, and it's still there as an adult too. It's still having an impact on you. So why don't we talk about the book itself? So
Okay.
so what can we expect? What can readers expect? When they open up a book, it's like you said, it's not a how-to, so to speak. So tell
Right.
us about it.
Yeah. So the book is it's a series of essays, short stories. Well, they're essays, I guess, because they're real stories, but it's not a sequential like a novel or a storybook or anything. It's you could pick up and read any chapter that you wanted, but it's just a series of stories that I experienced in my life from the Green Velvet Chair being chapter one, I think it is, because it kind of set the tone. But also, my mother-in-law is very close to her, and she was kind of my friend as opposed to kind of an authority figure. But when she passed away, I designed her eulogy, and I thought, you know what? Designing is not just pixels and picas and colors and Pantone swatches. Designing is looking at a person's life and go, you know what, that was a really inspiring story that she had with her children, or, our relationship was so special in these. So became designing stories around someone's life. It became, ravioli making with her. We made ravioli every year for Christmas Eve. That was our Christmas Eve dinner. My children have taken that on. So it's food. It's designing a food. Ravioli is a little bit complicated to make. Pasta is kind of tricky to make, although it can be simple. We've gotten kind of an art form into it, but yeah, food, cuisine, it is an art form. And it's just kind of recognizing all the things that we all do, not just me as a designer, because design is very much instilled in my life, but everyone, how, the gray velvet couch that you chose, these are design decisions. These are things that make us tick. And, the colors that we wear, how we wear our hair, our jewelry, the even in nature, like going for a walk and realizing how blue the sky is. So how green the leaves are on the trees. Its design is everywhere. And I just captured those. Halloween costumes is one of the chapters. When my kids were growing up, I loved to sew. I was never as good as my mom, but I could sew a Halloween costume. And we got some really creative stories in there about Halloween and stuff like that. So creativity in every aspect, not just around graphic design or website design and all that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of vignettes of stories that I think people could relate to. It's for me even a high school story. Trying to. I was always a chubby, shy, quiet girl, and I went back to my high school reunion and I learned how to do makeup and my hair and dress a little bit better. And it was like I kind of developed a personal brand. And yet people, when they met me at high school, they go, "Oh, I wouldn't have opened the door for you back then, but I'll open it for you now." So it's kind of like the brand is not just polish and lipstick, it's what's inside you, right? So it was kind of, that was even a bit of an awakening to go, you know what, you can polish yourself on the outside, but your core values are, really who you are, whether you were that chubby little teenager or maybe something that you grow into as an older woman. So it just kind of, the stories just started to flow, and it just kind of took on this life that it was like, you know what, people said they could relate to these kind of things. So it made it really quite rich.
It's beautiful, and I love how you sort of touch on different parts, but weave it all together under the umbrella of art and design in your life. So, what do you hope your reader gets from holding the book in their hand and reading it? What do you hope they come away with?
Yeah, there's kind of three things that I kind of would like it to kind of to do. The first one is really to, for all of us to appreciate all the art and design around us in the everyday, right? Like it really is. You know, there's a story in there about my granddaughter. Well, I haven't been to the park. I haven't been to the kids' park in years, but now we go to the park and I hear the birds singing again. You know, it's there's art everywhere, and it's in nature, and it's surrounding all of us. So it's really just listening. And I know with the pandemic and stuff, people are a lot more appreciative of that quiet time, right? So just seeing how blue the sky can be and how beautiful the bluebirds are, sort of thing. So just seeing that art and design everywhere around us, it really is everywhere. Secondly, is I think it's finding your own creative outlet. So I am a very creative person. Like on the weekend, I'll be making Ukrainian Easter eggs for next
Ooh.
week. But so everything I do is pretty creative, but I think we're all creative in our own way. And it's really just finding that. And recently, I was thinking about Albert Einstein. He was actually a very gifted musician. Louis Pasteur was a very gifted painter, but they were not known for those traits, right? They were known for their genius in mathematics and medicine, etc. So, but I think those creative outlets that they had, and I think we all have, enrich our creative thinking and our thought processes. And I think it translates into all the problems that we're trying to solve in our lives, whether it's a creative problem like I may have with a client, or a creative problem in engineering or something. So I think having that creative outlet is really critical.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, I think there's one of the later chapters is about finding my inner badass. So I'm quite quiet and introverted, but there's a story in there that kind of explains that I am kind of a badass. And I think we should all nurture that inner badass, but not with the Harley Davidson and the leathers and the bandana, but more. There's a story about standing up to a bully, where I stood up to a bully as a little kid on the school ground. And, someone told me, it was actually my mother's eulogy. Someone said, "Oh, you can't do the eulogy, Laura. You're too quiet. You're too shy." And although I know that it was for my best interest, they didn't want me to embarrass myself or anything on the pulpit, I kind of looked at them and I said, "Just watch me." And I did. And I did, I think, a really good job of the eulogy. And then finally, it's kind of losing your inhibitions. Like I say, I'm quite introverted, but my daughter got married a couple of years ago, and I just lost my inhibitions on the dance floor, and I grabbed a couple bottles of wine, red wine, and grabbed a couple of the neighborhood ladies, and we all danced on the dance floor to Red Red Wine by UB40. And it was just fun. And it was like, that's to me being a badass. It's just, enjoying life and standing up to your beliefs and that type of thing. So, that's something that I think we should all nurture.
I love that you have all that woven into the pages of your book. So you mentioned clients, and I'm going to actually put here, this is, you can download an excerpt from the book, and your website is Badass Ballerini. So let's talk about that for a second.
About the website name and that type of thing?
Yeah. So tell me about this whole Badass Ballerini thing you got going on.
Yeah, so it kind of came out of left field. Writing a book was never on my radar. But I did take a business book writing course a couple of years ago, and it kind of thought, oh, maybe I have a story in me, but I don't want to write about business. I don't really want to write about design and branding, because there's so many good books out there and there's so many people that do it so well that I don't want to just do another book about that. So I thought maybe I'll do a book about art and design. But so I joined a storybook workshop, and it was about storytelling and oral storytelling. And within the group, I took several of the workshops. We had a great little group of, say, 6 women, and we told stories. And anyway, I told the story about the bully on the playground, and somebody said, "Oh, you're badass." And then I thought, and then actually, I think she was the one that said, "Oh," and she looked up the URL and she goes, "Oh, Badass Ballerini is available. You should get it." So I thought, oh, maybe there's something to this. So anyway, that was kind of the back end to the story. And I thought, well, it's kind of fun. Like, it's kind of, people look, and even today people go, "Oh, I don't see you as a badass, Laura." And I said, well, you got to read the book now to figure out why I named it Badass Ballerini. But it was just kind of tongue in cheek. It was kind of fun. It was kind of playful, and it kind of has a meaning.
Mm-hmm. So this book is very personal, but I feel like it can also help inform potential clients of who you are. So have you been able to sort of weave in your book marketing into your brand as a whole?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yes, I have. And it's a good question because I am so used to promoting my clients.
Right.
I've never promoted myself, and I very much do work in the background. I like working in the background, and my job is to make my clients look good. So this is very, very putting myself out there, I guess, which I haven't usually done. So it's been a real challenge for me, but I'm really enjoying it. And I'm kind of taking the strategies that I work with my clients on and go, okay, what do I need to do with this book? And one of them, and I have been listening to to you on YouTube and got a lot of good points. And I also work with a publisher out of San Diego, Kathy Sparrow. She's been fantastic.
Wonderful.
But she's saying, don't sell the book all the time. Sell the inspiration. Well, I hope it's inspiration. Sell the stories within the book. Kind of hopefully there's some wisdom there or some stories that will make people think a little bit deeper about things. So sell that. Don't sell the book per se. So that's been really, really good for me. I have given the book to some of my clients, and I hope that they can see a little bit deeper about who I am. Because, yeah, I think we all kind of put on a facade. And I've known someone for about 30 years. She emailed me and she goes, I read your book. I thought I knew you, but I didn't know you until I read your book. So
Really?
I think, yeah, so I think we all put and one of them was the high school story. She goes, I struggled in high school too. And she said, I didn't know you struggled like that. So it kind of is showing yourself a little bit and the layers, that we all kind of hide. So it's been very interesting for me, especially as an introvert, to go, okay, I'm kind of being brave here and showing, some of my vulnerability. So it's been challenging, but it's been really, really interesting.
And I bet a little rewarding too.
Very rewarding. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Okay, so how can we get the book? What's the best way for people to purchase it?
Well, the easiest way would be Amazon. So it's on Amazon Books, and
Okay.
it's The Green Velvet Chair by Laura. My middle name is Elizabeth, so Laura Elizabeth Ballerini.
Okay.
And I'm in Calgary, Canada. So I'm starting to get it into the local bookstores in Calgary. So it'll be available in some of the independent bookstores. So I'm trying to hit kind of all the targets, getting that kind of global digital, as well as that homegrown, the local independent bookstores in my hometown. So, but yes, it's available on Amazon. That would be the easiest probably way to get it.
Awesome. All right. Well, Laura, thank you so much for being here today. Everybody, go ahead and you can grab an excerpt at badass-ballerini.com/download-excerpt so you can get a taste of the Green Velvet Chair, and then go ahead and grab a copy on Amazon. Laura, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Melanie. Very much appreciated.
My pleasure. Everybody, thanks so much for watching, and I will be back again soon with another edition of Authority Marketing Live. Thanks so much.
Thank you.